Hello Zainey friends, thank you for watching with us today. What we're doing is basically a swatch out.
Swatch out.
How many different ways can you do this? I love it.
I am going to find a new way every time. I do it off the seat of my pants, and that's why sometimes it's crap.
Today we are doing the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette that I just got last week, and I am so excited about it. I've already posted swatches of this on my Instagram, so make sure you look down below for my Instagram so you can follow me there. It will be right here as well, so make sure you are following both of us because we have contests and things like that coming up, as well as our other content. Also make sure you are subscribed so that you do not miss out on anything and any of the exciting things that are coming up in the future. Also, if you click that notification bell or sign up for our email newsletter down below, you might be shouted out in a future video. So in order to let us know you've done that, you're gonna comment below #ZaineyFam so that we know that you are following. And we only do that once per person, so not more than once, guys. Yes. So for this one, go ahead and comment if you have this palette, or were you wanting to get this palette, or what you think about this palette in general. This particular palette, if I remember correctly, cost $38 on their website. I was lucky to get it because I was on that website the moment it became live. I mean, I really was. And I normally hate doing that, like with a passion. But I had been wanting this palette for a really long time because I only have one other Morphe palette, and it is the Kathleen Lights Morphe palette, so I wanted to get this one as well. I felt like it was a really good value for what you were getting because you're getting all these shadows for $38. At first I was kind of like, well, I have some of those shades in other palettes, so why do I want it? But honestly, after I have swatched it all, I am floored by the quality of most of these. I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them, especially the shimmers, guys. Like, you're going to see it when we do it down below, the shimmers. So I just wanted to talk about the packaging first, some pros and cons before we go into the actual swatches. The packaging is a little disappointing to me, but it is like the Morphe, which one am I thinking of? The Morphe Kathleen Lights palette is very similar. It was cardboard as well. I don't care about the cardboard as much, but like Bethany and I both got this like pretty much within 3 minutes of each other, so she got hers at the same time. And she said also she didn't like the fact that it was pure white because it will get dirty really easily. And I agree with her because when you're in here, granted the inside is gray, so it's not as bad, but I feel like you can get really messy with this palette in not a good way. So I feel like, yeah, maybe it could have been a different color on the inside to hide the mess. Also, there is no mirror. I'm okay with that because it's such a big palette. It's not one of those you want to be holding in front of your face to use the mirror. So I'm fine with that. The actual colors are not printed on here. I don't know if that was like some kind of intentional thing so that they would have more room for shadows, but they did give you this card which has all the colors in it. I feel like this is kind of silly because they either should have put this on the back of the palette or they should have put it up here. Even though there is like a nice little note from Jaclyn Hill saying, hey, thanks for subscribing to me, y'all. I feel like this should have been attached to the palette because I can easily lose this. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I might just attach it to the back here with washi tape. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not...
They should have taken this note from her and put it on the back as well, or on the front, something like that.
Right.
Because honestly, you need to see what the names of the colors are if you're doing YouTube, which she does.
Yes. So she should know this as a YouTuber. I'm just saying. Yeah, I just want to bring up too, she says there was an interesting like new formula that she had created for some of these. I can definitely see that in the shimmers. So as we go through, I will kind of try to tell you what it looks like. Then Marshall is going to tell you about both companies, Morphe and about Jaclyn Hill herself, so that you will get a background on that as well as what's going on here, right?
Yeah. Anything
you have to say before we go into swatches?
Let's get this going because there's a lot of interesting things about their stories. Actually.
This is the Morphe palette. I tried to get the entire thing in the shot. I think I have succeeded. We're going to go through and tell you the color names first from this card here, and then I'm going to go through and swatch on the back of my hand with this brush to see the best pigmentation. So here we go. From the top, we have Enlight, Beam, Silk Cream, MFEO, Faint, Sissy, and Little Lady, Creamsicle, Butter, Pooter, I don't know what that is, Pukey, Hunts, Firework, and Queen, Obsessed, SBN, Hilster, Roxanne, Jax, that's J-A-C-Z, like Jaclyn, but like Jags, Buns, Cran Apple, Royalty, Twerk, Hustle, Meeks, 24/7, Chip, Mocha, Pool Party, Jada, Diva, Enchanted, Central Park, Soda Pop, and Abyss.
Morphe actually has a connection to you and me. They are also run by a brother-sister duo.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep. So Linda and Chris Towell, I think that's how you pronounce their last name, they actually didn't start in the beauty industry. I tried to find what they did before they got to put together Morphe, but I couldn't. But they each started in a different industry before coming in and working together to make Morphe brushes. They started just going around to different trade shows, selling off their brushes that way. Then they started going to retail stores, and from there they opened up their very first store in 2013. They focus on affordable quality, not only in their brushes but also in their palettes, which is what you can definitely see here. I mean, let's talk about the pricing of this thing. You said it was $38, and you're getting 35 shades. That's a little over $1 a shade. Wow, that is value for you right there. How do you feel so far about how it's going on?
Well, it's kind of interesting because these two right here, you can really on camera see the shimmer of it. And this one is very much a transition shade. Like, it's light as all get out, and I had to kind of build it up. And then this one is kind of falling into the cracks of my hand. So far, these two are great, and I don't really... I mean, I can see the use of this one, but as far as like a really pigmented color, that's just not happening. I did want to also bring up that for this one, I will be swatching all the way down my arm. And the reason for that is because these darker colors have such a staying power that when I swatched this on my Instagram, I wiped it off and it literally did not go away for a day. So it is very pigmented and very, very long lasting, which is absolutely a good thing, but that's why I have to do it all the way down my arm for you.
Okay. Jaclyn Hill, who they're working with to bring this, she kind of designed this palette. She is a beauty YouTuber. She started back in 2011, and this is her 4th collaboration. Her first 2 collaborations were with Becca Cosmetics, and first she created a highlighter that was called Champagne Pop.
Everyone knows Champagne Pop.
Yep. And then after that, she worked with them again to create a palette that also included that, and that was called the Champagne Collection.
I think that came out fairly recently, within the last year or so, right?
It doesn't say when that was created, but it does say that in 2015 she did a palette with Morphe where it was just a collection of their shades that she really liked.
Right.
So that was almost it. And this one, she actually designed the colors and gave them the names. So they're from her videos, I believe. And this is not the only one that Morphe's done where they've done a combination with somebody from the YouTube world. I like that idea, actually, of going out to different beauty YouTubers and building new palettes from their content.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this palette. I like the colors, but you can tell they're just not... I don't know if it's the brush. It might be the brush, to be honest. I don't really know, but you can tell they're nice. I just don't see that they're hugely pigmented. I'm gonna switch brushes just real quick and see maybe if that's it. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit denser brush. This is an Eco Tools brush, and see if I can just swatch this same one right here. Might be the brush.
Okay.
We'll see.
Jaclyn Hill has a pretty interesting story from what I've read. She was born to James and Robin Eilers with two other siblings, sorry, a brother and a sister. And she started in Mineral, Illinois. How's that for a name for a city? Mineral, Illinois. Well, I know what they're doing over there. Her father was involved in a tragic car accident, but when he came out of being unconscious from it, he says that he received the word of God, and then he began pursuing missionary work after that, and it kind of drove him for the rest of his life. The entire family moved out to Tampa, so she's not too far off from where we're living.
Yeah, really not.
They moved in 2012, and she married her husband. I'm glad, because if she married somebody else's husband, this would have been really awkward. And let's see, where is it? I know his name is in here. Where did I put that? There you go. John Hill. He's a drummer. They have 2 Shih Tzus, and they married back in 2009. So I think you can, when you see her started up in 2011, I think, she got married, worked together with him, and then built up this a pretty nice YouTube empire, I think, that she's been approached by so many times by companies to work together with them. So how far down are we now?
I'm right about here.
Oh wow, okay, so we're only halfway through. Guess it's time to start talking about the chemical formula here.
You might want to.
Yeah. Now, chemically, again, like a lot of them, you're going to see that it begins with talc, which is, going to get into some of the pores. If you have sensitive skin, talc is going to start causing some issues with acne, breakouts, stuff like that. But for most skin, it's not going to be a problem, especially on the eyelid. There was a couple of chemicals in here that I was a little concerned about: phenolxythanol and dimethicone. Now, both of these are kind of mid-level as far as how much concern there is about them. In general, we're not talking about in their current usage, it's just in general. They are concerned because they're bioaccumulative, so they'll start building up in your internal organs if used too much, and they can cause some internal organ issues. But pretty much all of the health industry standards limits the amount of these two chemicals that can be put in. And based off of where I found them in the chemical formula, there really isn't all that much. So I think that these two chemicals are in the right amount, that it won't cause an issue for you. It's just that it's one of those things that I'm a little leery of. It's not going to hurt you at all. It's just, I would like it if it wasn't there.
Yeah.
My personal preference. Which does factor into its review a little bit. But, like I said, as long as they retain a certain level, it won't be a problem. Ooh. Interesting.
As they get a lot more darker, I feel like the pigmentation is a lot better, which I guess is to be expected. These greens, let me just show you how this is going to happen.
Oh, wow.
It has kind of this interesting, like, duochrome thing happening on there. This one.
Wow, those are really bright.
They are bright. It's good. Like, I like that these are so bright. I think that's great. And I'm looking for more real estate. I can't even see anymore.
That's the only downside to this huge palette. You can't swatch all over the place.
All right, let's do the inside of my arm now. We're back. So I went over these colors right here a little bit with my brush, and it does pick up a lot more. It was the brush that was a problem. So make sure you use maybe a more dense brush when you want to apply a more pigmented look. I can see how it looks like some of these might be the same color. They actually turn out quite different in different parts of my arms. I love this section right here. I think it's going to be great for if you like the natural look with the shimmer. I do like the pigmented colors. These are really great as well. I think it's a great value for your money. Like he said, it's $38 on their site. I think they're sold out right now though. And so it's a little over $1 a shadow. I think you're going to be able to find any look that you want in here. I guess okay, let's talk about the new texture. So the new texture is really in some of these shimmer shadows. So normally when you put on a shimmer shadow like this, it will get a little bit of fallout because of the glitter. This does not do that. So let me try to find one that's a good example of what I'm talking about. Okay, let's try this one right here. So this one is, obviously you can see the glitter inside of it, but when you use your hand, it feels like butter, and then you just put it on, and it's just pigmented, and it doesn't streak. There's not a lot of fallout. I can see what she means by a new texture, and I kind of like it. So that is what that is. If I had to give this palette a grade, I am excited about this palette. I love this palette. I would use it, but I tend to get overwhelmed by a lot of shadows. But that being said, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards a 3 on this, honestly, just because there are a lot that I don't feel are as pigmented as they could be. I see where she's going with this. I just prefer more pigmented shadows that I can blend out. I think the staying power is great, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to give it a 3.
Personally, I have to give it a 4 for its chemical. There is those 2 chemicals that are in there, the phenoxyethanol and the dimethicone, which I would prefer not be in there. But what does save it is the fact that they did manage to make that buttery texture with the glitter in there, because I think that's really masterful of the chemical properties.
I agree. So that gives us a grand total of 7, which is
our average.
It's our average. So it's still a really good palette. We're not saying this is horrible by any means. It's actually a good palette. It's just like, I think it's got some places it could grow for sure. Yes. So thank you so much for watching us today. Make sure you comment down below if you do like the brush swatches as opposed to the finger swatches. And join us on Wednesdays, Fridays.
And sometimes Sundays.
And until then,
stay zany.
Bye-bye.